When I was a baby, my mom told me, I was crying all the time. Every waking hour of the day, I was crying for something. She told me that she couldn't sleep for 2 years, not even a single night, because I was crying every single night and waking my parents up at 4, 5, 6 a.m. every single morning. When I got a little bit older, between the ages of 4 and let's say 12 years old, I remember I was always sad about something. We had very usually these family gatherings where my parents and some other parents that are their friends come together, they make one table, they eat some food, they drink some alcohol, they listen to music, they're having fun. And of course, the kids come around and we play all together. And I remember the other kids, also including my sister, they were all the time bullying me, or at least in my 4-year-old perception. I was always wronged, and I remember all the time going into the parents' room and just complaining to my parents how they did me wrong, how they bullied me, how they insulted me, and just spoiling the other parents' party. I always needed some justice. I always asked for my parents for justice because I always felt sad. I was always the victim. After that, when I grew up even more, between the ages, let's say, of 15 and 19, it's usually where teenagers just go into their typical teenager age. And I had many, many arguments with my mom. Now I understand it was so hard for her because approximately at this point, we were not a normal family anymore. She was a lone parent, and I can understand how hard it is. We constantly had these arguments. Now, in hindsight, it's about very stupid things, and I wouldn't do it. But we argued, and I was getting angry, and I was punching and dropping things and screaming and slamming doors. But I remember one specific time. I don't remember the reason for the argument, but I remember I was very, very angry. I slammed her door, went into my room, I slammed my door, and went right here on the bed. I was not crying, I was not angry, I was not sad. I was rather at peace. But I wanted to continue arguing and continue being sad and continue being wronged. You can probably relate when you go in arguments, in the moment, if you let yourself be controlled by your emotions, of course you're angry, of course you feel wronged, of course you're sad, of course you feel like screaming. But you notice after some time, you start to let go of these emotions, and kind of the argument doesn't have the same power to you anymore. It doesn't hold you a slave anymore. You don't feel the need, the urge to feel sad, to try to prove yourself, to get any justice. You just let go of the argument. But can you notice yourself that sometimes you want to continue for the sake of arguing? Or you want to continue for the sake of being a victim and feeling wronged and wanting other people to see you as a victim and to apologize to you, to ask you for forgiveness. At least personally for myself, I have the bravery to admit this, that I have done this many, many, many times. The argument is already over. Sometimes even I don't slam the door, but me and the person that is arguing, we come to a conclusion. But I still go on and on and on and on. Many of us are addicted to being sad. Many of us are addicted to being broken, addicted to being wronged, addicted to being a victim. And it takes a lot of mindfulness, a lot of awareness to understand that you're actually sometimes liking the fact that you're sad. You're liking the emotion of sadness. You're liking how it feels when somebody is wronging you. Because subconsciously it puts you on another level to them. If somebody wrongs you, if you're on the same level, and if somebody wrongs you, it puts them down and below you. In this way you can feel better about yourself. Everything comes from low self-esteem. And as it is in life, sometimes people insult us. Let's say you walk on the street, you're feeling happy, and somebody says, very ugly hair. Usually, the person that is doing this doesn't know that it's wrong. The person that insults you, in their head, they think this is the right thing to behave. This is the right way to behave. Because people, when they do this, they don't understand which is good, which is not. People in general act the way they think is right. Even though in your perception it's not right, people in general act how they think it's right. Always. There is one story from one book, I don't remember which one, that I've read some time ago. And they talk about some serial killer. This guy had some 10 or 20 bodies. And finally the cops just surround him in his apartment and they catch him. When they bring him to court, they ask him about these murders. And he said, I just wanted to make people feel good. I just did what I thought it's right. Even the serial killer thinks that they do the right thing. And the same way goes in our subconscious. The emotions that we mostly feel is what we actually like, what we actually crave. How we actually made and drew our drew how we actually drew the self-image in our head. In my case, a sad person. And the interesting thing is that every time you try to go away from your self-image that you so deeply established in yourself, you always get pulled back. If you see yourself if you drew yourself the image, the deep subconscious image throughout the years, that you're a sad person, every time that you want to be happy, you're swooped back to your ground level. Many of us have these identities, these personalities inside of us, and we secretly like the pain. That's why when you argue, and when the argument is already over, you want to go on and on and on, because you secretly like the pain. Secretly, subconsciously, inside of you, sometime in the past, you decided, you established this ground level, which says that you are an unhappy person. You are an unsuccessful person. You are an unattractive person. And every time you try to go, self-sabotage. Because you, let's say the dog wants to become a cat. And of course, every time it tries to become a cat, the dog family, they come back, you're a dog. The same way, I don't know, this example is on top of my head, but the same way we try to run away from ourselves. Not from ourselves that we think we are, ourselves that we established within ourselves as our core identity. We get swooped back. Are you addicted to being sad? Are you addicted to being wronged? Are you addicted to being broken? Are you addicted to being not good enough? Are you addicted to always needing to be improved? Because guess what? If you're addicted to always wanting to be improved, every time that you improve, you self-sabotage and you go back to your root, the need to be improved. Let's say you want to get jacked. You get jacked finally after putting some effort and some time, but your ground level is needing to be jacked. That's why you get swooped back. Maybe an injury happens. Maybe you go off your diet. Maybe you just get lazy. Maybe you don't want to. You suddenly don't have motivation anymore. Self-image and the addiction of bad things. Just remember, everything that we do in our subconscious, we think that it's right. If we argue, if we scream, if we break plates, if we slam doors, if we even punch somebody, we think that it's right. And also, it's the same for other people. That's why next time you're sad, because being sad and being happy is a conscious decision. Some things can affect you, some things cannot. If somebody insults you, you can answer and get mad and angry, but you can take it and have a different mindset. For example, that it's this person projects to the world what they have inside of themselves. But you decide if some things can affect you. You decide if you're going to be happy or you're going to be sad. You can decide if you lose your job to be happy and to say, yes, it was maybe for the better and I'm gonna find a new job. It's all about the self-image. It's all about that you need to understand that you kind of like being the way that you are. And in order for you to completely change, which is very hard without the self-sabotage, you need to establish a self-image of a successful, handsome, smart, loving, happy person. And of course it's hard when your self-image is not like this and when you try to go away from it. It's like the crabs in the bucket. There are some crabs in one bucket. Every time the crab tries to come out of the bucket, the other crabs whoop and they bring it back. You need to understand that there is no bucket. You decide in which bucket you can go, let's say. Think of it of also the other way. Think of it, let's say that you have a self-image, you like being happy. Every time that you become sad, you can return to the ground level of being happy. Because a lot of people say, I want to be happy, I want to live a peaceful life, but at the same time, they argue on and forever and being sad and being mad and being wronged and not willing to forgive. Do you really? Next time you notice yourself being sad or after an argument, realize, do I want peace or I secretly like what is happening right now? This kind of stuff, this kind of teachings I show in my coaching sessions. If you want one-on-one personal help with me to go deeply into your specific situation, to analyze how you are and to help you understand that you are yourself your own coach and you can heal yourself completely, you can check the first link down in the description. I'll be very happy to work with you and to see you there and to start doing something amazing together. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As usual, stay tigers.